Today, there are over 40 economic development agencies in South Africa, most of which have been established by the Industrial Development Corporation through their Agency Development Support Unit. Aspire, a regional economic development agency created by the Amathole District Municipality, is one of the IDC-funded agencies in South Africa. Since its establishment in 2005, Aspire has become synonymous with the corridor approach and small-town regeneration. In the process, it has become one of the most successful economic development agencies in the country. Its success is clearly connected to its ability to make things happen through its ability to create, influence, inspire, and facilitate. At the end of 2011, the CEO of Aspire, Phila Xuza, made a decision to pilot a professional development program for economic development practitioners in South Africa. This decision emerged from a number of things.
Development agencies in South Africa are a new phenomenon. So when we started as the Amathole Economic Development Agency, otherwise known as Aspire, we were experimenting with a number of things. First, on just how this new institution now in economic development was going to play itself out. Two, what kind of intervention programs can it bring into the economic development field? Three, hopefully to just finally talk results on the ground. So after we did our 5-year review as Aspire, we felt let's spread out. Let's share the lessons learned. Let's find a family of development agencies. And so this program gave me the platform to invite the CEOs of other agencies in the province to say, come on up, let's look at who we are, what we can be, and just do this thing. Whether we are legitimate structures or not, whether we have the legislation behind it or not, but we know what needs to be done, and we can do it. So that's how it started.
This desire to find a family of development agencies translated into the creation of a professional development program. The objective of this new program is simply to establish a profession of dynamic economic development practitioners, and it sets out to do this by supporting the establishment of a field of economic development populated by economic development practitioners, helping to clarify what regional development agencies can be and do in South Africa, and sharing Aspire's success in an effective and engaging manner. There are 4 aspects of this program which distinguish it from other courses or workshops. They are the participants, the process, the content, and the impact. To begin with, the program is based on experiential and peer-led learning, which focuses on supporting participants shift their mindset. It is facilitated and led by a diverse team of highly qualified experts working collaboratively to create and facilitate a responsive, dynamic experience which incorporates the participants' lived experience in a meaningful manner. Key representatives from the South African Local Government Association Eastern Cape, GIZ, the Eastern Cape Provincial Department of Local Government and Traditional Affairs, the Provincial Department of Public Works, Joe Qabi Economic Development Agency, Ntinga or Tambo Development Agency, and Alfred Nzo Development Agency were invited to a workshop in January to present the program concept and explore what they needed to be effective in their roles. What participants shared during this inception workshop informed the program content. The program consists of 4 thematic sessions which last for a day and a half. They are spread out over a 4-month period of time, so participants can internalize and implement what each session deals with in the workplace. The content was developed by the CEO of Aspire, Phila Xuza, and explored regional development agencies in South Africa, the use of strategy, managing stakeholder communications, advocacy and results. Content was designed to address the need of the participants, the needs of the profession and the experience of Aspire. The fact that participants formed a natural community of colleagues made their engagement powerful and rich. They were talking to their peers about spaces, situations, and people that they were all familiar with and even shared. The fact that Phila Xuza was also a member of this community facilitated the learning process and enriched the learning process. Phila's presentations were practical and accessible. The content was based on her personal experience as a CEO of a regional development agency in the Eastern Cape. One professional economic development practitioner speaking to other practitioners.
I think for me, the way in which it is structured is key in that it is evidence-based kind of learning. It draws lessons from a similar organizations. You are able to pick up on their mistakes, failures. You are able to pick up on their successes and build on that. It's very practical. It's not an academic program. It is a simple program that is based on a case study, which is Aspire. What is more important as well is an inspiring story. It's an inspiring journey that people have in real life gone through. That for me is the contribution that it would make.
The impact of this program of the participants has been significant and immediate.
A lot has changed during the program. Sometimes you think that you take people in through a program so that they can be empowered and go out to do it. But in this one, it's been different. People have been in the program and doing what the program says at the same time. So much that as we move as members of the team, we're now creating ourselves into an association of a specific caliber of practitioners, because something has shifted right from the day we started the program.
The impact was evident in increased levels of responsibility to deliver results, increased credibility, capability, and impact, improved communication and relationships, a willingness and desire to make a difference, a sense of belonging and connectedness. What did the participants feel was their biggest learning?
What is most important is what you have done, not what you do or what you go through, but impact. You start with the end in mind.
The program, it has encouraged me to explore more.
That people could come together, discuss what their common areas of common concern and common challenges are, I think that's been quite powerful.
Is the importance of role that can be played by development agencies, especially in contributing to service delivery.
My biggest learning is really that sense of professionalism. The fact that you need to be ready and be prepared for whatever engagement or conversation that you go into. The second part about it is that it has made me to be more assertive in terms of knowing that I am a professional and therefore I can be able to raise my views and opinions without fear, for victimization.
I've seen them now being sort of masters of their destiny. People are now seeing themselves as professionals, whereas earlier on they were seeing themselves as the ball that is being kicked this side and that side by politicians and stuff like that. Now they see themselves as the people who can actually define their destiny. And that kind of engagement and that kind of reflection on their part is basically the major shift that I don't think you'll find it anywhere.
How has this program changed the way the workshop participants operate in their role, workplace, and environment?
The first of all that the course has done for me is to acknowledge my own integrity and the strength and the motivation and the influence that I'm having within my work environment.
Oh yes, it has changed a great deal. It also has, firstly, by making me understand what will make me successful in the work that I do. And the fact that we act to influence, more than saying things, but the way you act, what you do, influences the end result.
Yes, It has changed a number of ways. How do I do things at work? The way I plan, the way I operate at work. It has created networks, partnerships. Now I've got access to people that I never had access to them before.
How did the participants benefit from the program?
Personally, the program has meant growth in terms of economic development sphere. It has reshaped what I was thinking. So I've just realized that in the economic development world, you need to think out of the box.
The interaction with colleagues, it has brought in quite a lot of inspiration for me. The program meant that, I have had a lot of interactions with colleagues, but more importantly, it has been very inspiring, very motivational, very reviving.
It was a useful interaction, empowering, enriching, creating confidence, expanding knowledge, confirming even what you know that it is correct.
Well, it's meant that I should treat my job. It's a calling profession, and I must take it very, very seriously. The job that we do has a big impact on improving the lives of the people that we work with.
The biggest value of the course in me as a person, firstly, to win, you got to have a passion for what you are doing. And secondly, you have to have a vision, that the end result in mind, what you want to achieve. But you have to acknowledge that development takes time. And you got to employ your own initiatives. You got to identify yourself with the programs, use your own initiatives, and while you are not undermining the values and the ideas of other people.
It exceeded my expectations right from the first session. The way that my colleagues sort of took it on, it looked like everybody was ready for it. We all understood what we were trying to do, because we've been so frustrated, I think, in the economic development practitioner field of not knowing exactly what defines us. We seem to be doing too many different things, and the results are not really talking to our efforts. So it really captured our frustration and created a response to the meaning of what our job is all about. Between the sessions, you could see the changes that they were taking on board, the commitments they made, and the implementation of those commitments.
What value will this program add to regional economic development?
There's a very definite space for local economic development agencies at a regional level in the national economic development landscape. What it's demonstrated also is that agencies could be a conduit for national initiatives and national processes.
I see the program assisting more municipalities, 45 of them within the Eastern Cape, and using it as a capacitating tool for those municipalities.
The results will show. I tell you, I'm ready. It's no longer going to be about who was sitting around the table. I can't wait for a time when you're driving around the Eastern Cape, you actually see something going on, that we could just create a little bit of frustration to the ordinary people because something is getting fixed. Instead of them coming to our offices complaining about water pipes that have no water. So for me, that would be the results. It's when even passers-by are willing, can comment and say, wow, there's now street lights in this town. Wow, the pavements look much cleaner. That would be the results of this program for me.
It's quite a unique experience, and you need to be in the course to experience it. I can't really explain it to you in such a fashion that you will understand it. You have to go through the emotions so that you can basically have that understanding of it.
This program is aimed at developing professionals in terms of their skills, understanding, knowledge, and attitude, as well as to support practitioners' ability to create, inspire, influence, and facilitate. In other words, to make things happen.